There comes a moment in life when you realize that the person you have been is no longer the person you want to be. You look at your habits, your thoughts, your daily actions, and you see that many of them were built without awareness. They were formed by comfort, by fear, by distraction, and by the slow passing of time. Yet within you there is something unchanged, something steady and quiet, waiting. The year ahead is not simply a change in numbers, it is an opportunity to rebuild yourself, not by force, but by discipline and clarity. Rebuilding yourself does not mean becoming someone else. It means removing what is unnecessary so that your true strength can emerge. The first habit begins with waking up with intention. When you wake up without awareness, the day controls you. When you wake up with awareness, you begin to control the day. Do not reach immediately for noise and distraction. Sit up, breathe, feel the weight of your body and the rhythm of your breath. A calm beginning creates a strong foundation. If the first moments of your day are rushed and chaotic, the rest of the day will follow the same pattern. But if the first moments are steady, the mind becomes clear. Each morning is a small rebirth, a chance to begin again without carrying yesterday's burdens. The second habit is training your body. A weak body drains the mind, and a tired mind weakens the spirit. Movement is not only for appearance, it is for energy and discipline. When you push your body beyond comfort, you discover that your limits are often illusions. Strength is built through repetition, through effort, through persistence. You do not need perfect conditions to train. You only need commitment. Every drop of sweat is a reminder that you are shaping yourself through action, rather than wishful thinking. The third habit is guarding your attention. Your attention is your life. Whatever you focus on grows stronger within you. If your attention is scattered across endless distractions, your energy becomes scattered as well. Learn to choose what deserves your focus. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not everything deserves your time. When you protect your attention, you protect your inner peace. A focused mind moves with purpose, while a distracted mind moves in circles. The fourth habit is embracing discipline over motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline remains. Discipline means doing what must be done even when you do not feel like doing it. Especially when you do not feel like doing it. Each time you choose discipline, you strengthen your character. Each time you choose comfort, you weaken it. Over time, these small choices shape the person you become. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. The fifth habit is learning to sit in silence. Many people fear silence because silence reveals what distraction hides. But silence is where clarity lives. When you sit quietly and observe your thoughts, you begin to understand yourself. You see your fears, your desires, your patterns. You begin to notice how often your mind wanders into the past or the future. The present moment is the only place where change is possible. Silence brings you back to that place again and again. The sixth habit is letting go of what no longer serves you. You cannot rebuild yourself while carrying the weight of old habits and old identities. Some things must be released so that new growth can occur. This may mean leaving behind certain routines, certain environments, or even certain relationships. Letting go is not always easy, but holding on to what weakens you is far more painful in the long run. Growth requires space, and space is created by release. The seventh habit is choosing your environment wisely. Your surroundings influence you more than you realize. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the spaces you inhabit, all of these shape your thoughts and behaviors. If you surround yourself with negativity and laziness, it will slowly become normal to you. If you surround yourself with discipline and purpose, that too will become normal. Choose environments that challenge you to grow rather than encourage you to remain the same. The eighth habit is practicing patience. Rebuilding yourself is not a quick process, it is a slow and steady transformation. Many people give up because they expect immediate results. But real change happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Just as a tree grows roots before it grows branches, you must develop inner strength before you see outward success. Trust the process even when progress feels invisible. The ninth habit is taking responsibility. Blame is easy. Responsibility is powerful. When you blame others or blame circumstances, you give away your power to change. When you take responsibility, you reclaim that power. This does not mean that everything is your fault. It means that your response is always your choice. No matter what has happened in the past, the next step is always yours to take. The 10th habit is practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. When you focus only on what is missing, you feel incomplete. When you recognize what is already present, you feel grounded. Gratitude does not mean ignoring challenges. It means acknowledging that even within difficulty, there is something to appreciate. This mindset strengthens resilience and keeps you moving forward. The 11th habit is facing discomfort. Growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Each time you avoid discomfort, you remain the same. Each time you face it, you expand your limits. Discomfort is not an enemy. It is a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. Whether it is physical effort, difficult conversations, or unfamiliar challenges, stepping into discomfort is a sign that you are moving forward. The 12th habit is remaining consistent. Consistency transforms small actions into powerful results. One day of effort means little, but repeated effort creates change. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to continue. Some days will feel easy, and some days will feel heavy. Continue anyway. Consistency builds trust in yourself. It proves that you can rely on your own actions rather than your changing emotions. Rebuilding yourself is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming aware. It is about recognizing that every day you are shaping your life through your habits and your choices. The person you become is created by what you do repeatedly, not by what you do occasionally. Each moment offers a choice to remain the same or to move forward. The path is not always easy, but it is always there for those who choose to walk it. Every step taken with awareness is a step towards strength, and every step taken with discipline is a step toward freedom. The life you are building is shaped by what you do today, by what you choose right now, by how you rise each time you fall, and how you continue each time you feel like stopping. Change does not arrive all at once, but through steady effort, the old version of you begins to fade, and in its place, something stronger, calmer, and more resilient begins to stand. True change begins the moment you become aware of how you are living. Most people move through their days without noticing their own patterns. They wake up at the same time, think the same thoughts, react in the same ways, and repeat the same habits without ever questioning them. This is how years pass without real growth. When you live without awareness, you do not choose your direction. Your habits choose it for you. Awareness interrupts this pattern. It is the quiet realization that your life is shaped by what you repeatedly do, and if you want a different life, you must begin with different actions. This realization is simple, but it is powerful, because once you see clearly, it becomes difficult to continue living blindly. Awareness begins with observation. You start to notice how your day unfolds. You notice what time you wake up and how you feel when you wake up. You notice whether your first actions bring you clarity or distraction. You notice how easily your attention is pulled from one thing to another. At first, this observation may feel uncomfortable because you begin to see how much time and energy has been wasted. But this discomfort is necessary because it shows you where change is needed. Without seeing the truth of your habits, you cannot reshape them. Many people believe that change requires a sudden burst of motivation, but true change begins much more quietly. It begins when you pause and reflect It begins when you ask yourself honest questions. Why do you do what you do? Why do you avoid certain challenges? Why do you hold on to certain routines even when they do not help you grow? These questions bring light into areas of your life that were once automatic. And once something is brought into the light of awareness, it can no longer control you in the same way. Intention gives direction to awareness. Awareness shows you where you are, and intention shows you where you want to go. Without intention, awareness remains passive. You may notice your habits, but you will not change them. Intention is the decision to move forward with purpose. It is the quiet commitment to become stronger, calmer, and more disciplined than you were before. Intention does not need to be loud or dramatic. It only needs to be clear. A clear intention acts like a compass, guiding your actions even when the path feels uncertain. Each morning offers a chance to renew this intention. When you wake up, there is a brief moment before the mind becomes busy with plans and worries. In this moment, you can choose how you will approach the day. Instead of rushing immediately into distraction, you can pause and remind yourself of who you are trying to become. The simple act changes the tone of the entire day. It turns an ordinary morning into a deliberate beginning. Over time, these deliberate beginnings create a deliberate life. Living with intention means acting consciously rather than reacting automatically. When something challenges you, the old patterns will try to take control. You may feel the urge to respond with frustration, avoidance, or doubt. But awareness gives you a small space between the situation and your response. In that space, you have a choice. You can repeat the old pattern, or you can choose a new action that aligns with your intention. This choice may seem small in the moment, but repeated choices create powerful change. At first, this process requires effort. The mind is used to following familiar paths, and it will resist new ones. You may forget your intention. You may fall back into old habits. This is part of the process. Awareness is not about being perfect. It is about noticing when you drift and gently returning to your path. Each time you return, you strengthen your ability to stay present. Each time you begin again, you reinforce your commitment to change. Over time, awareness begins to deepen. You start to recognize patterns not only in your actions, but also in your thoughts and emotions. You notice which thoughts drain your energy and which thoughts strengthen it. You notice how certain environments influence your mood and your behavior. You notice how small choices accumulate into larger results. This deeper awareness allows you to make wiser decisions because you begin to see the consequences of your actions more clearly. Intention also begins to grow stronger with repetition. What once felt like effort begins to feel natural. The actions that once required discipline begin to feel like part of who you are. This is how transformation happens. It is not through sudden change, but through steady alignment between your intentions and your actions. When your actions reflect your intentions consistently, your identity begins to shift. You no longer feel like someone who is trying to change. You begin to feel like someone who has changed. There will still be moments of difficulty. There will still be days when your mind feels restless or unfocused. Awareness does not remove challenges, but it changes how you relate to them. Instead of being controlled by every passing emotion, you learn to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of being pushed in every direction by external pressures, you remain guided by your inner direction. This steadiness becomes a source of strength because it allows you to continue moving forward, even when circumstances are uncertain. When you live with awareness and intention, time begins to feel different. These no longer pass unnoticed. Moments feel more vivid and meaningful because you are fully present within them. You begin to realize that life is not something that happens to you, but something that unfolds through your choices. This realization brings a sense of responsibility, but it also brings a sense of freedom. If your choices shape your life, then you always have the power to choose again. Awareness keeps you grounded in the present moment and intention keeps you moving toward the future. Together, they create a path of steady growth, step by step, choice by choice. You move away from unconscious living and toward deliberate living. The process is gradual, but each step strengthens your clarity and deepens your understanding of yourself. Over time, the gap between the person you are and the person you want to become begins to close, not through sudden transformation, but through the quiet power of consistent awareness and clear intention. Discipline is the foundation upon which transformation is built, because it does not depend on how you feel in a particular moment. Feelings are constantly changing. Some days you feel energized and ready to take action, and on those days it seems easy to move forward. But there are many other days when you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. If you rely only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. You will move forward when it feels easy and stop when it feels difficult. Discipline changes this pattern. Discipline means you continue even when the feeling is not there. It is the decision to act according to what is necessary rather than what is comfortable. At first, discipline feels heavy because it asks you to go against your natural desire for ease. The mind often seeks comfort and avoids effort. It looks for shortcuts and distractions. It tells you that you can start tomorrow or that one missed day does not matter. These thoughts feel convincing in the moment, but they slowly weaken your commitment. Discipline requires that you recognize these thoughts without obeying them. It requires that you act based on your long-term purpose rather than your temporary mood. Each time you choose discipline, you strengthen a part of yourself that many people neglect. This strength does not appear suddenly. It is built through repetition. When you wake up at the time you decided, even when you feel tired, you build discipline. When you complete a task, even though you would rather avoid it, you build discipline. When you remain focused while distractions call for your attention, you build discipline. These moments may seem small, but they accumulate. Over time, they create a foundation that supports everything else you do. Training your body is one of the clearest ways to understand discipline. Physical effort is honest. It shows you exactly where you stand. When you train consistently, you begin to see that progress comes not from intensity alone, but from regular effort. One difficult workout will not change you, but many consistent workouts will. The same is true for the mind and for your habits. Transformation is the result of steady effort repeated over time. Discipline ensures that this effort continues even when results are not immediately visible. There will be moments when discipline feels like resistance. You may feel as if you are forcing yourself forward, while another part of you wants to stop. This inner conflict is natural. It is the space where growth occurs. If everything felt easy, there would be no need for discipline. The presence of difficulty is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that you are pushing beyond your current limits. Each time you move through this resistance, your limits expand slightly. What once felt difficult begins to feel manageable, and what once felt impossible begins to feel possible. Discipline also creates structure in your life. Without structure, time is easily wasted. Hours pass without meaningful action. And at the end of the day, you may feel that nothing has truly been accomplished. Structure gives your day direction. It ensures that important actions are not left to chance. When you decide in advance what must be done, you remove the need to constantly negotiate with yourself. You simply follow through on what you have already committed to doing. This structure does not need to be complicated. In fact, simple routines are often the most effective. Waking up at a consistent time, dedicating time to focused work, moving your body regularly, and allowing time for rest and reflection, these basic patterns create stability. Stability allows you to direct your energy more efficiently because you are not constantly deciding what to do next. Your actions become smoother and more deliberate. Discipline is often misunderstood as harshness, but true discipline is an act of self-respect. It is a way of showing yourself that your goals matter. When you follow through on your commitments, you build trust in yourself. This trust is powerful because it changes how you see your own potential. Instead of doubting whether you can succeed, you begin to believe in your ability to persist. Confidence grows not from words but from evidence, and discipline provides that evidence through consistent action. There will be times when you fall short of your expectations. You may miss a day, you may lose focus, you may choose comfort when you intended to choose effort. These moments are not failures unless you allow them to stop you completely. Discipline includes the ability to return to your path without unnecessary delay. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, you acknowledge them and continue forward. This ability to begin again is part of what makes discipline sustainable. Over time, discipline begins to shake your identity. At first, you may feel like someone who is trying to be disciplined. The actions feel unfamiliar, and the effort feels deliberate. But as these actions are repeated, they become part of who you are. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who persists, someone who does not give up easily. This shift in identity reinforces your behavior because you naturally act in ways that align with how you see yourself. Discipline also brings a sense of freedom that may seem surprising at first. Many people think of discipline as restriction, but in reality, it removes many of the obstacles that create frustration. When you are disciplined, you waste less time deciding and more time doing. You are less controlled by impulses and distractions. You have a clearer path forward because your actions are guided by purpose rather than by circumstance. This clarity reduces stress and increases your sense of control over your life. As discipline becomes stronger, challenges begin to feel different. Instead of seeing them as barriers, you begin to see them as opportunities to test and refine your strength. Each challenge becomes a chance to practice persistence. Each obstacle becomes a chance to reinforce your commitment. This mindset transforms difficulty into growth because it keeps you moving forward even when progress feels slow. In this way, discipline becomes more than a set of actions. It becomes a way of living. It shapes how you approach your responsibilities, how you respond to challenges, and how you pursue your goals. Through steady effort and consistent action, discipline turns intention into reality and transforms potential into strength. Letting go is one of the most difficult parts of rebuilding yourself because it requires you to release what is familiar, even when what is familiar is holding you back. Many people try to grow while still holding tightly to the habits, thoughts, and environments that shape their old selves. They want change, but they do not want to release the patterns that keep them the same. This creates an inner conflict. One part of you wants to move forward, while another part wants to remain where it feels safe and known. Real growth begins when you recognize that you cannot carry everything with you into the next stage of your life. Some things must be set down so that you can move freely. Old habits are often the first things that must be released. Habits are powerful because they operate automatically. They do not ask for your permission. They simply repeat themselves day after day. Many of these habits were formed during times when you were less aware, and they may no longer serve the person you are becoming. Yet they remain because they are comfortable and predictable. Letting go of a habit means interrupting this pattern and choosing something different, even when the old way feels easier. At first, this feels unnatural because you are stepping away from what you know. But with repetition, the new pattern begins to take root and the old one begins to weaken. Letting go also involves releasing limiting beliefs. These beliefs often form quietly over time. They may come from past failures, from the opinions of others, or from moments when you doubted yourself. Once formed, these beliefs begin to shape how you see your own potential. You may start to believe that you are not capable enough, not strong enough, or not disciplined enough to change. These thoughts feel real because they have been repeated so often, but they are not permanent truths. They are patterns of thinking that can be challenged and replaced. Letting go of these beliefs means recognizing that your past does not define your future. It means allowing yourself the possibility of becoming more than you have been before. Sometimes letting go means stepping away from environments that encourage you to remain the same. Your surroundings have a powerful influence on your behavior. If you are constantly surrounded by distraction, it becomes difficult to focus. If you are surrounded by negativity, it becomes difficult to remain positive. If you are surrounded by people who avoid growth, it becomes difficult to pursue your own growth. This does not mean rejecting others with harshness. It means creating enough distance to protect your direction. You must be mindful of what you allow into your daily life, because it will shape your thoughts and actions in subtle ways.
Letting go can also involve releasing the need for constant comfort.
Comfort is appealing because it feels safe, but too much comfort prevents growth. When you remain only in situations that feel easy, you do not challenge your limits. Over time, this creates a sense of stagnation. Letting go of comfort means being willing to face difficulty and uncertainty. It means accepting that growth often feels uncomfortable at first. This discomfort is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is a sign that you are moving beyond your previous boundaries. There is also a need to let go of past mistakes. Many people carry their past with them like a heavy weight. They replay old failures and regrets, allowing them to shape how they see themselves in the present. This weight drains energy that could be used for growth. Letting go of the past does not mean pretending that mistakes never happened. It means learning from them without allowing them to define you. Every mistake contains a lesson, and once that lesson is understood, the mistake has served its purpose. Holding on to it beyond that point only creates unnecessary suffering. Letting go requires honesty with yourself. You must be willing to see clearly what is helping you and what is holding you back. This clarity is not always comfortable, because it may reveal patterns that you would rather ignore. But avoiding the truth only prolongs stagnation. When you face the truth directly, you create the possibility for real change. Honesty allows you to make decisions based on reality rather than on habit or denial. Patience is essential in the process of letting go. Patterns that were built over years do not disappear overnight. There may be moments when you feel that you have moved on, only to find old habits or old thoughts returning. This does not mean that you have failed. It means that change is still in progress. Each time you choose to release the old pattern instead of following it, you weaken its hold on you. Over time, the pattern loses its strength, and the new way of being becomes more natural. Letting go also creates space. When your life is filled with unnecessary habits, distractions, and attachments, there is little room for growth. By releasing what is no longer needed, you make space for new possibilities. This space allows you to introduce new habits, new ideas, and new experiences. Without space, growth becomes crowded and difficult. With space, growth becomes possible and sustainable. There is a quiet strength in the ability to let go. It shows that you are not controlled by your past or by your habits. It shows that you are willing to move forward, even when it requires change. This strength grows each time you release something that no longer serves you. It reinforces the understanding that you are not fixed or limited, but capable of continuous transformation. Over time, letting go becomes less about loss and more about freedom. What once felt like something you needed begins to feel like something that was holding you back. You begin to notice that you move more easily without the extra weight. Your thoughts become clearer and your actions become more intentional. The path ahead becomes easier to follow because it is no longer blocked by what you have chosen to leave behind. In this way, Letting go becomes an essential part of rebuilding yourself. It clears away the old so that the new can take root. It removes the unnecessary so that the meaningful can grow. Step by step, release by release, you create the conditions needed for a stronger and more focused version of yourself to emerge. Consistency is what turns intention into reality. Many people begin with enthusiasm, making strong promises to themselves about how they will change. They feel a surge of motivation and believe that this feeling alone will carry them forward. But after a short time, the feeling fades, and with it, their effort begins to fade as well. This is why so many attempts at change remain unfinished. It is not because change is impossible, but because it requires something deeper than motivation. It requires the quiet strength of showing up again and again, even when progress feels slow and unnoticed. Consistency is not about intensity. It is about continuity. It is about continuity. It is about returning to the path each day and taking another step, no matter how small that step may seem. Small actions often appear insignificant in the moment. Waking up on time, completing a short period of training, focusing on a task without distraction, or taking a moment to reflect. None of these actions seem powerful on their own, but their power lies in repetition. When you repeat a small action consistently, it begins to shape your identity. You become someone who follows through. You become someone who persists. These small actions act like drops of water falling on stone. One drop does little, but many drops over time can reshape even the hardest surface. In the same way, consistent effort reshapes your character and your capabilities. Consistency also builds trust within yourself. When you make a commitment and follow through on it, you send a message to yourself that your words have meaning. Each completed action reinforces the belief that you are capable of discipline and growth. Without consistency, this trust cannot develop. If you beg and then stop repeatedly, you start to doubt your own intentions. You begin to question whether you will truly follow through the next time you make a promise to yourself. Consistency removes this doubt by providing evidence through action. It shows you that you can rely on yourself, and this self-trust becomes a powerful source of confidence. There will be many days when consistency feels difficult. You may feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. You may feel that your efforts are not producing results quickly enough. These moments test your commitment because they ask whether you will continue without immediate reward. It is easy to act when progress is visible, but true consistency is proven when progress is slow or invisible. During these times, the act of continuing becomes more important than the results themselves. Each time you continue despite difficulty, you strengthen your resilience and deepen your commitment. Consistency does not require perfection. Many people abandon their efforts because they believe they must follow their plans flawlessly. When they make a mistake or miss a day, they feel that they have failed completely. This all or nothing thinking interrupts progress and creates unnecessary pressure. True consistency allows for imperfection. It recognizes that setbacks are part of the process. Missing one day does not erase the effort of many days. What matters most is the willingness to return and begin again. The ability to continue after a setback is a key part of consistency because it prevents small interruptions from becoming permanent stops. Over time, consistent actions begin to feel more natural. What once required effort begins to require less thought. Habits form through repetition, and these habits make consistent action easier to maintain. This is why the early stages of change often feel the most difficult. You are building patterns do not yet exist. But as these patterns take shape, they begin to support you. Actions that once required discipline begin to feel automatic. This shift allows you to conserve energy and focus on further growth rather than constantly struggling to maintain basic routines. Consistency also creates momentum. Each completed action makes the next action slightly easier. This forward movement builds upon itself, creating a sense of progress that encourages continued effort. Momentum is fragile at first, but it grows stronger with time. When momentum is strong, it becomes easier to maintain your direction because stopping feels more difficult than continuing. This is why even small actions matter. A small action maintains momentum, while inaction slows it down. By continuing to move forward, even at a slow pace, you preserve the progress you have already made. Patience is closely connected to consistency. Without patience, it becomes difficult to continue when results take time to appear. Many meaningful changes happen gradually beneath the surface. Just as a seed grows roots before it breaks through the soil, your efforts often create unseen progress before visible results appear. Trusting this process allows you to remain steady in your actions. Each day of consistent effort contributes to growth, even if that growth is not immediately obvious. Over time, these hidden changes accumulate until they become visible in clear and undeniable ways. Consistency also simplifies decision-making. When you act consistently, you reduce the need to constantly decide whether or not you will take action. The decision has already been made. You follow the path you have chosen rather than negotiating with yourself each day. This reduces mental strain and allows you to direct your energy toward the action itself. Instead of debating whether to begin, you simply begin. This simplicity makes it easier to maintain your efforts over long periods of time. There is a quiet discipline in consistency that often goes unnoticed by others. It does not seek attention or recognition. It exists in the daily effort that no one else may see. Yet it is this quiet effort that creates lasting change. Sudden bursts of effort may attract attention, but steady effort creates transformation. The person who continues patiently will often surpass the person who relies only on moments of intensity. Through consistency, your actions begin to align with your intentions. The gap between what you want to do and what you actually do becomes smaller. This alignment creates a sense of harmony within yourself because your actions reflect your values and your goals. Instead of feeling divided between intention and behavior, you feel unified in your direction. This unity strengthens your sense of purpose and makes your path clearer. In time, consistency becomes part of who you are. It is no longer something you force yourself to do, but something you naturally maintain. Each day of steady effort builds upon the last, creating a structure that supports continued growth, step by step, action by action. You shape your future through the simple but powerful act of continuing forward. Rebuilding yourself is not a single decision made in one powerful moment. It is a path, walk step by step, day by day, choice by choice. The habits you form become the structure of your life, and through them, you shape the person you're becoming. Awareness shows you where you stand. Discipline gives you the strength to move. Letting go clears the weight that holds you back, and consistency carries you forward when the path feels long. None of these work alone. Together, they form a quiet process of transformation that unfolds over time. There will be days when your energy is strong and your direction, feels clear, and there will be days when progress feels slow and uncertain. Both are part of the same journey. Many people wait for the perfect moment to begin, but the perfect moment rarely comes. Change begins in ordinary moments, in the way you rise in the morning, in the way you respond to difficulty, and in the way you continue even when no one is watching. These small moments may seem unimportant, yet they are where your future is built. Every disciplined action strengthens you. Every moment of awareness sharpens you. Every time you let go of what weakens you, you create space for what strengthens you. And every step you repeat with consistency turns effort into identity. You are not fixed in the shape you are now. The version of you that exists today is the result of past habits. But the version of you that emerges tomorrow will be shaped by the habits you choose now. This understanding brings both responsibility and freedom. Responsibility because your actions matter. Freedom because you can begin again at any moment. No matter how many times you have fallen into old patterns, you can always return to the path. Progress does not require perfection, it requires persistence. There is strength in moving forward quietly, without needing recognition or approval. Real transformation often happens beneath the surface, long before anyone else can see it. Roots grow before branches appear. Foundations are built before structures rise. If you remain patient and steady, the results will come in time. The person you are becoming is shaped in the unseen hours, in the effort you make when it would be easier to stop. In the end, rebuilding yourself is an act of respect toward your own life. It is the decision to no longer drift without direction, but to walk with purpose and awareness. The path may be challenging, but each step makes you stronger, clearer, and more resilient than before. And one day you will look back and realize that the person you once were has quietly been replaced by someone who stands with greater strength, greater calm, and greater understanding. The life you seek is built by the steps you take today. So rise, begin, and do not turn back.